whatever she's comfortable with. You can leave it on. We don't care whether you have your knapsack. You can leave your knapsack on. We don't care.
Hey, that's me. People who know me know.
Yeah.
You saw her pride to put this up all the time.
Yeah.
That's probably better.
Okay.
Enough light? Okay, we're talking with Donna Narducci, Executive Director of Atlanta Pride, and this is what year are you in now with your job?
I will be completing 5 years as Executive Director.
And where do you think we are after 5 years?
Actually, we're pretty far along after 5 years. Thinking about when I first joined the committee in 1993 and to where we are now, it's absolutely amazing. We've basically doubled the size of our festival, not only attendance, but the number of participants, our booths, the parade. We now have a whole month of arts programming with our cultural celebration. When I first joined the Pride Festival in 1993, we were a 2-day event. Now we're a 3-day event, so it's just been phenomenal change.
Okay, you met tonight with the leather folks of Atlanta and some of the other minorities within the broader gay community. What was this meeting about, and what were the major issues?
This meeting was brought together it was hosted by the leather community in Atlanta, and it was basically to talk about how the Atlanta Pride Committee can be more inclusive to the greater Atlanta community at the Atlanta Pride Festival. And so we really opened some doors, and I think helped each other understand how Atlanta Pride can be more welcoming of an environment for the leather community, the transgender community, and all the different facets that make up Atlanta's gay and lesbian community.
You mentioned maybe having a liaison person between each group on the board, or not on the board, but maybe attending board meetings, or how would that work?
Yeah, I think we'll probably pursue that further. I think there was a lot of interest here at tonight's meeting for members of the meeting here tonight, the leather community, to get involved in Atlanta Pride. So I think we'll take a look at how many members on from the leather community might in fact join our board of directors or join our festival committee, and perhaps from there, that's where we can develop those liaisons that we spoke about. But I also know that Tom Stice and Samantha Clair and I will probably continue the work that we have started together and continue to meet, on a fairly regular basis, and also keep those dialogues going. So I feel confident that the liaison work has begun.
Do you think there's been some tendency with all the prides across the country to sort of clean up the act so that sort of some of the diversity that happened in the past, and I won't use some examples, but particular costumes and that kind of thing are sort of being pushed to the side, and this diversity is sort of being milked down a little bit?
I think that pride communities, or pride committees rather, across the United States struggle with that. Struggle with allowing people to express their individuality because they are proud to do that, but yet how does that reflect on the Pride Committee as a whole or the Pride Festival as a whole?
You want to stop? You want to do that cut again? Okay. Somebody just walked in front of the camera.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I think we can cut it all right. Let's pick up. Let's make sure we have it. Again, on the question of diversity in Pride events these days, are you seeing that maybe it's becoming more homogenized and there's less diversity?
I think the Pride committees struggle with how to embrace our diversity. I think our community, as we're beginning to explore who we are as individuals, we are becoming more diverse. And I think it's sometimes difficult to embrace all the aspects of diversity or even to know how to go about doing that. So yes, I think across the board it is an issue for Pride Festival organizers, but it's events like what happened tonight that help us bridge that gap. These folks were not so happy with their participation or the lack of inclusion from the Atlanta Pride Committee with this year's Pride Festival, but rather than just complaining about it and then not doing anything, they asked us to come to a meeting tonight where we could talk about it. And that's how change will happen if we work together.
Donna, best of luck in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul Friedman, co-chair of the board and the Pride event.
Which is like the Pride, it's kind of the co-chair of the board of directors, but it's, and of the whole Pride event, the whole weekend. It's kind of like Donna, if we had to do this pecking thing, I guess it would be like, supervisory-wise, I would supervise Donna as the ED, which is more or less over the board. Kind of,
Okay, we're talking with Glen Friedman, and Glen again. What's your title with Pride?
Sure. I'm the co-chair of the board of directors and the Pride event.
And how do you think this event went tonight at the Eagle?
I think it truly exceeded our expectations. I mean, I'm really happy that we had an opportunity that I never thought of, and that is to outreach to a facet of our community that has been involved for so many years, but that could be a lot more involved from our end that we did not even realize or tap into. I'm really excited that for next year that there will be a lot more involved in this outreach that we've done, like them having with their Leatherfest and the Bear event that's after follows Pride. We can now include as a related event that we have not done in the past. Having maybe a safe space that they were requesting, and a whole thing that will help them to educate more of the community within the leather community. So I think this is great because I think this is now the road, and it's really kind of helping us to make our mark for the year 2001, which is we need to do a lot more outreach in the Atlanta community. And I think this is one of the many organizations, and this has helped us to realize how important it is that we need outreach.
So to have gotten to this point tonight, did it take a slightly squeaky wheel?
Well, no, I think that the email that started the whole thing off was actually really good for us because we didn't find it in a negative way at all, but more of a positive, of maybe more bringing to our attention, hey, are you aware that there's a facet of the community that is involved, but that we're feeling is not as involved as we should be? And how can we become more involved, and what can you do to help us to get to that point? And there's a lot of members that maybe you have not even spoken to. So I think with that, it helped to clarify a lot of things about how they need to be at the table. There's a seat at the table for anyone in our community, and I think that helped, more importantly, is to open some doors for us that we never had before.
Let me wish you well.
Great, thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing everyone next year.
Great. James Bryant. James Bryant, yeah. How new are you to the board? Come on in here a little closer. When did you join the board?
Began in February.
So you're new, so you can give us a perspective on the board.
It's a great
All
organization.
right, hold on. Are we running? This is James Bryant, and you're a board member recently, James.
Yes, sir. Started February.
And what's your sense of the Atlanta Pride Board these days?
It's a great organization where we try to encompass everyone in Atlanta. That's one reason we're here for this outreach tonight, to make sure all the communities are involved. Of course, there's always room to improve, and that's what we're trying to do. But it's a great, exciting opportunity for people to get involved, to be a part of the community, to be a part of the Pride, and be proud and be part of the Pride, to be an exciting part, because to see that crowd at the B-52s that Sunday afternoon, and then to look up at the start of the cabaret and see the big rainbow in the sky, and when they said, Raven said, this is what we're all about, and for all those that says that, God doesn't love us, this tells us that he does. And to be a part of that excitement, to be a part of the organization, it's a great opportunity for people. And we want people of the leather community as well to be a part of the board and part of the committee, and in all parts of Atlanta, gay and lesbian and bigender and trigender and all the communities, transgender community, bisexuals, to be a part of our organization, because that's what we're here for.
And how did you come into running for the board?
I read an ad in the etc. and called and told them I was interested, and went through the interview process, and was appointed to the board in February.
Well, wish you luck, James.
Thank you very much, and appreciate your support as well.
Thank you. Yeah.
From the standpoint
Sure.
that
What is this one?
that's where we're working.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the meeting with Pride tonight,
Okay.
and then we can add anything else you want to talk about.
Okay,
Okay, Samantha Clair, C-L-A-A-R.
correct.
Good. And Miss Leather Pride 2000. Are you running? We're talking with Samantha Clair, and you are Miss Leather Pride 2000,
Correct.
and also brought together mostly this meeting tonight at the Eagle.
Yeah, I'm the elected fearless leader kind of thing.
And what do you think came out of this meeting tonight, Samantha?
I think absolutely positive things came out of this meeting tonight, that our community got a chance to speak face to face with the people that make decisions for Pride, and that they are obviously anxious to have us included, that even though we weren't seen, we we are taking the personal and community responsibility for that, for not being seen at Pride 2000, and we're taking our commitment to a new level to be there for 2001.
Did you hear some things from the folks on the floor here that didn't come up in your conversations, sort of covertly with Pride when you were meeting with them on just on a one-on-one basis? Some ideas, new ideas?
Oh yeah, there were quite a few new ideas, and people are genuinely interested in how we can do it in a cost-effective manner for ourselves and for Pride. So,
What about this idea of a big tent, which is sort of all-inclusive of the little minorities that make up the part of the gay community?
the tent comes from our first meeting that we held, and it's basically we want a place where we can congregate comfortably and where people that have questions, that are curious, that want to know more about us, can also come and visit and hang out all afternoon if they want to.
Good. Tell us about this effort. We're going to get a close-up of your poster over here. What's that project about?
This project is about I Want You, and it's basically geared to the leather community. We want you to come out and help us with Pride.
So this is your outreach to your own...
To our own community, correct.
And what are the numbers, do you suppose, in the Atlanta community of the leather and the other sort of minorities that make up this part of the gay community? How many people do you suppose?
I'll have to be honest and say I have no earthly idea. I mean, I don't know how we break down as a percentage.
Right.
When we have large events like Leatherfest and all, we can talk as many as several thousand people that are directly and indirectly involved in getting that together. So.
And of course, everyone who's wearing leather vests is not necessarily joined up with you all anyhow, is that right?
That's true. I mean, there are a few bikers out there that don't.
I didn't wear mine tonight. But thank you, Samantha. We wish you well your meeting tonight. Thanks.
Thank you.
We need to get the poster. Sam, we're going to get out of your way. That's all right. We've got more than enough. Hold on. Let me get my words in my mind. Atlanta's leather community, let's do a voiceover. I can just do the whole voiceover and I'll have it.